Hi, my name is Roger. Welcome to my channel. And today I am with April, my good friend from Chicago, Illinois. And I am in Bolton, in Greater Manchester, the UK. And we are going to talk about today, guess what? Food. But not any kind of food. When a pudding is not a pudding. Keep watching because we'll give you the answer at the end of this video. And if you like this kind of topic, press that little bell underneath and you get notifications. Okay, so I know there is a lot of confusion between words and expression used in the UK and in American English. Okay, now can you imagine for a non-native speaker how confusing it can be? So interestingly speaking, when I first came to this country, one of the first things I heard about eating and dinner is, what do we have for tea? And then at first I said, what do you have for tea? I said, 2 sugars. And then I got the answer, no, something to eat. So for in this part of the world, in the UK, having tea, it's having evening dinner. How does that sound in American English? Does that make any sense over there in Illinois, in Chicago?
Like you, I would be thinking, how many sugars to put in that tea, because that's definitely a drink over here. It does not constitute a meal. You can't eat your drink.
No, you can eat your drink. I totally agree. But saying that, tea is also a drink. That didn't lose its meaning. So having a cup of tea. And incidentally enough, I remember having a conversation around having a drink with my wife. And then she used to say, I used to say, darling, what would you like to drink? So sometimes then she said, if I don't say anything, it's a cup of tea. When I mention it, it's a coffee. So to her, a drink became a cup of tea at that specific moment when we're talking about it. Anyway, now and then she changes her mind to having a cup of coffee. But it's interesting how with habits, words can change meaning. It's interesting because suddenly a drink became a cup of tea. So if I say, what are you having to drink? And then she said, oh, if I don't mention anything, it's a cup of tea. So a drink became a cup of tea. It's only when I mention something, either she has a coffee instead of having a cup of tea. So it can be a bit confusing because when I first came, for me, for example, lunchtime, it's lunch, isn't it? Isn't it the same in America? Lunch is lunch.
Yes, it sure is. Yeah, it's a meal. It's like a tiny meal that you have to kind of hold you until you get to the dinner time.
Yeah, okay. Until you get to, so around 1 o'clock, maybe 1 p.m.?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, okay. But seriously enough, as because I've been in the UK for a long time now, since 1991. So having tea became having evening meal. So what are you having for tea? Became what are we having to eat tonight? That's what it meant, okay? So what it meant then, the word tea was used instead of the word dinner. And as a result of that, the word lunch kind of disappeared, at least in my family here, and the word lunch disappeared, and dinner was what we're going to have for lunch, even though dinner traditionally is more like in the evening. But because of the words that keep changing meaning, it's interesting how they're being used. Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. But breakfast is still a breakfast. A breakfast is still a breakfast, isn't it? That doesn't change.
No, that's true. It's still breakfast over here.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, you mentioned about appetizers. So that's interesting because you mentioned the word hors d'oeuvre earlier. So you gave...
Yes, yeah. I found out that the term appetizer actually comes from the word hors d'oeuvre, and that was a term that we use in the United States and England for since way back in the 1860s. That's where it originated. How they got appetizer from hors d'oeuvre, though, I don't really know.
Yeah, from order to appetizer. Yeah, because French used to be used by a lot of the upper class at that time. And so hors d'oeuvre, yeah, is a starter. Yeah. Then you have the main course, and then you have the, this is where you work to find out why a pudding is not a pudding. Okay. And then you got the starter, as I just mentioned, then you got a main course, whatever that might be. Okay. And then you go to dessert. A dessert. What is a dessert in American English? A dessert is,
It's a dessert, you know?
yeah.
That's what they call it here.
Yeah, and a dessert can be what, for example? Can you give me
Anything. It could be cake, it could be pie, it could be cookies, it could be brownies, it could be anything that's like some kind of sweet thing, you know?
Okay, interesting speaking. So when I came to this country, before I came over, the word I learned at school and one with my English teacher, which I must say was excellent. I remember him very well in the 70s, excellent English teacher. And in the 70s, when he taught us about dessert, it was a dessert. Yeah, okay. It's only when I came over here that I found out that a dessert, yeah, you can still use the word dessert. There is nothing wrong with it. People will understand you. But they use the mysterious word pudding. So this is why you're going to get the answer when the pudding is not a pudding. So in America, what is a pudding? Perhaps you can show us something.
I'm sure I happen to have it right here because I knew we were going to talk about. A pudding is just a...
Okay, can you keep it fixed? So sugar-free, fat-free, chocolate. Yeah, it's in chocolate. Could they have any flavors, any other flavors than chocolate or?
Oh, they have vanilla, they have banana, they have all kinds. Butterscotch is a big one, so they have different flavors. And you don't have to have sugar-free. This is just the one I have.
Okay, so that's a pudding, isn't it, in America, correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. But a pudding in this country, so when my wife used to ask me, what are you having for pudding? Then it could be absolutely anything. It could be ice cream. It could be a cake, as you mentioned earlier. It could be, I don't know, what else? It could be a tart. It could be, I don't know, a fruit cake. It could be and all sorts of different type of creamy dessert and
something sweet. Yeah.
Anything really, and it could be absolutely anything. And it could be, I don't know, a big chocolate thing with a lot of ice cream going on it, or you know, all sorts of different things like that. So the meaning is that a pudding in this country, in the UK, could be absolutely more or less any kind of dessert. At least in the Northwest, I'm not too sure. I've not lived in the south of the country. I've not lived in the southeast or west, but I presume that, you know, it's probably the word pudding is quite, but interestingly enough, in France, we use the word dessert, which is quite close to the English word dessert. However, the word pudding has managed to go across the channel, landed in France, and we use the word pudding, but we don't spell it in the same way. In English, it's P-U-D-D-I-N-G. In French, yeah, I think in English, isn't it? P-U-D-D-I-N-G. Is that the same in American?
Yeah, P-U-D-D-I-N-G. Yeah, pudding.
Yeah. But in French, we use the word pudding sometimes, and it is spelled P-O-U-D-I-N-G. And because the O-U becomes the U sound, okay? And that's the pudding. So that's interesting. So when the pudding is not pudding, very confusing if you're a non-native speaker. And so if you're an American person come over here and order a pudding, and then you know, the waiter might not come to the table with the right item. I don't know.
It would be a big surprise if I came over there and ordered a pudding and I got something other than this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? If they brought me cake or something, I'd be thinking, oh my stars, I'd order cake, you know.
But that's interesting what you just said. Can you show us that again? So
sure.
Yeah, so you got that Jello thing, that's the pudding. So, and then the lady might say, okay, I'll bring you the menu. And then you might go, do I need a menu for my pudding? That's a pudding. And
Yeah,
then,
basically, I'd just be wondering if when they're going to tell me what flavors they got, and then they'd bring me this gelatin-like dessert, you know, they would bring me that. So I wouldn't be expecting anything more.
yeah, exactly. But she might come back, he or she might come back with the menu, you know, with the card with the menu, and then he or she might tell you, this is what we have for pudding, and then you might go, oh, what do you mean? And then you look, ice cream, cake, fruit cake, and different things like that. So that would be interesting. And but these little issues can be easily overcome. Okay, but the most interesting is about the having tea at the beginning when I first came. So here we are, a pudding when it comes from America, across the Atlantic and lands in the UK. Suddenly it changes its meaning. It's still a dessert, but any kind. And even went further than that, as I had just mentioned a bit earlier, it just landed in France too. And we still use it in a French vocabulary, even though we use the word dessert, which is dessert. Okay. So guys, we will be doing more videos with this type of content and kind of differences between different countries, which can only be confusing, but I love confusion and how we can overcome them. So I will say thank you, April, for being so kind to share your dessert. Even it's a shame I cannot have some of it. And guys, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.